Hello, closers.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday. I'm happy to be back.
I missed you.
I missed you, and I'm so happy to be back in the studio and happy to be here with all of you today. It's a little bit of a gross Tuesday here in the greater Boston area, but spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung. My allergies have said it's
Me too.
I had so much fun last week, even though you were gone.
I know.
I missed you terribly, and I was totally a mess on a million issues, which you already know about. Getting a chance to do the Mastery 30 minutes was so fulfilling. I was so happy to do it.
It looked awesome. I got an opportunity to watch it after. And I know some of you were able to see the teaser if you joined a couple of moments early. Who was able to attend last week's session? Tell us in the chat. I'd love to know who was there. And if anyone, we see hands going up.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was good.
Awesome.
We had a lot of people.
Good chunk of people attended. And Matt said he was there and he loved it.
Yeah, well, thanks, Matt. And I'm glad you loved it. It's like the more important topics to me personally. So I was so happy to share it.
It's one of those things that it's actually one of those topics we used to talk about it a lot in our live trainings. Yeah. And so to be able to do a specific session on that topic.
When we pivoted for you guys know, when we pivoted from that traditional 8-hour training day in front of people to these short videos and short segments of live streams, it changed some of our content. We had to redevelop certain things and teach things differently. And there's this little bucket of content that's kind of like storytelling, that's a little more arty than science, that was getting kind of pushed out. Like it wasn't finding a home because I can't waste 6 minutes of 30 minutes on a prospecting technique talking about my airplane story.
Right.
But now, I want to do more of these story times. I just got to figure out where we're going to put them. Could be Tuesdays.
Do you want to see stories? Because Jeff has some stories. And I feel like what's so fun, we've got stories on furniture buying times 2. We've got
car buying, lots of car buying stories. Very good ones.
We've got so many good sales stories.
Negotiating
Should
with
we
your
do a
manager?
story hour on... Not story hour,
story time.
half hour, story time.
Yeah, that might be fun.
That would be really fun for us to do.
But we've got a couple things we're going to do. We're not going to do any of those today.
No storytelling today.
All right. We'll get into what we're going to talk about today, but I have a bone to pick.
Okay. With all of them?
Not all of them. A subset of you all. So we've been doing this a long time. Mm-hmm. And we do it because we love doing it. We know you love it, and we love the community we're building, and we like just having this half an hour a week to get real on what's going on with sales and get some good techniques, but also have a little fun and kind of remind ourselves, this is a hard job. Let's at least remind ourselves to get all on the raft together. So I today posted my 41st consecutive day with a 1-minute hack.
Sure did.
They take forever to make. Mm-hmm. They take even longer to write. Mm-hmm. And I know you guys love them, so start sharing them. My God. I mean, I know how many people watch them. I know how many people love them. Hit share. You don't have to write a damn thing. Just share it. You can say it's great. You can say nothing. Share it. Get it out. Because right now what happens is the only people who see our good stuff are the people who already know our good stuff.
Totally.
So the whole way LinkedIn works is to get content into alternate feeds, into alternate audiences. That's how this whole process works. You guys have been loving it. You've been coming to class. You're coming to our Tuesdays. Share a damn hack.
You know what? Let's start with the rule of commitment. Everyone who is willing to share a hack, type into the chat and say I. Just say I. That's all you have to do. Say I. I see the I's coming in. Oh, and make sure you send them to everybody. Okay, thank you.
Much better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Or actual.
Yeah. You guys, you don't think it's a big deal? It's a big deal.
It is.
If just a handful of you guys share these hacks, more people see them. I'm more inspired to write more in different hacks, etc. Everybody wins. And when they're not shared and they just stay in this little bubble of the Tuesdays with Hoffman bubble, which is basically what it is, I start losing my interest in doing them.
I know.
Because I'm already doing this at 30 minutes a week. Do I need to do 5 hacks a week too?
I think that remember in the days of the pandemic when we all really dug deep and wanted to support community in whether it was a local restaurant or a local store, I feel like everyone really got into the idea of sharing people's posts, sharing stories, and sharing part of their community. We said day 1 of this season, this is the closer community. So share for us. I think that's a really big piece of the puzzle here.
It's an ask. And you know us, if you do that, we're going to reciprocate. And if you're trying to build your brand on LinkedIn, we're going to help you. I mean, my gosh.
We love doing this stuff. We're a community here together.
All right. That was it.
That was it.
Now
I have something too.
Okay.
I have another ask.
Oh, I know this is actually more important than mine.
I love when you say I'm more important than you. Okay. I just put into the chat for everyone. Jeff and I are hiring for our team. We are hiring a senior director of marketing here to run all of our digital marketing, everything from paid ads to SEO, brand assets, etc. It's an incredible role. It's an incredibly important hire for us. We have posted, we're seeing applicants come in, but what else would we do?
I love a
Then
closer.
ask all of you. We'd love to have a closer in the mix here. And if you are a closer who maybe has, it just happens to be a marketer, cool. If you're a closer who works with a marketer or knows a marketer that's looking for their next role, send them our way. You can just email me, cc@sellhoffman.com.
We're excited about this
we'd
job.
love to chat.
We've grown too much in the last 6 months that now we're feeling the pain of not having this position. So thrilled that we funded it, thrilled that we've got it. You're going to work with us all day. That's either a positive or a negative.
No, it's a positive.
Guessing you're thinking it's a positive. And it's 100% work from home. How nice is that? So.
Okay, everyone in the chat is blowing me up and saying it says no longer accepting applications.
Oh, that's because
I know.
LinkedIn.
We've
That's
literally
LinkedIn.
just hit the limit. I said,
We hit a
just
limit.
email me. Email me at cc@sellhoffman.com.
LinkedIn is really shady with it.
And we're going to, I have to fix some settings. So we're going to take care of it. But just, send me an email. All right. Let's get into it
Let's get
today.
into some stuff here.
Woo.
Into the
Last
quarter.
week, Jeff got to talk about what he wants to talk about. Today, I get to talk about what I want to talk about.
Yes.
And we were talking a bit earlier about what we want to discuss here, which was going to be what are we doing right now to finish the quarter strong? And when we were kind of brainstorming, like, what are the questions and what are the things we're thinking about, everything I kept coming back to was, well, all of this is for nothing if the person ghosts you. And Jeff doesn't love talking about ghosting. Even though some of our best Tuesdays with Hoffman have been on what to do if you get ghosted, Jeff doesn't love talking about it because Jeff has this theory that the ghosting happens to a specific type of person.
Yeah. And I know it's not popular to say, and it makes me
It's
sound
not.
obnoxious.
It makes you sound like an asshole.
So
But
I didn't say it, you said it.
no, I said it. Me. It was me. I'm the asshole. But if you've read the book Why Men Love Bitches, which if you haven't read it and you are a person who wants to date, you should read it. It's a fascinating book, a lot to do with psychology. A lot of what you're talking about applies here. And we talk about this idea of scarcity all the time. So rather than just getting into like hey, this is what to do this week, like, if you have a deal this week that is lingering out there, just call your buyer and ask them if they're going to sign on Friday. Like, that is what you should be doing right now. It's
100%.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
so you should be making that phone call. Of
course.
But I would think it'd be a much more interesting use of the next 22 minutes if we can talk about what to do so you avoid getting ghosted in the future.
Sure, happy to. And I know that sounds obnoxious, but it is true. I'm not ghostable.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, you're definitely not. And so what does that even mean? It means that I don't put myself in a position where ghosting is a reasonable option to handle dealing with me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give you places to ghost me, really, because to engage with me is going to require proactivity on your part, not mine. And another way of saying you're not ghostable is like saying I don't chase is really what it means. I don't chase. It doesn't mean I'm not persistent or that I'm not thorough or that I'm not responsive. I am definitely all those things. This is not about being cavalier and aloof. That's a surefire way to get no one to connect with you. But I don't chase, and I want to talk about what that means to chase and why it doesn't work and how you avoid it. Chasing immediately feeds the narrative of the social paradigm buyer-seller.
Yeah.
Buyer-seller, we've talked about this a million times, is a real paradigm, has nothing to do with any of us. It's in granite. As soon as you're in a buyer or seller motion, whatever role you're in, you're going to slip into that paradigm. Now, the important thing about paradigms is that paradigms always have a built-in authority figure that you can't wrestle with or bend. In teacher-student, it's the teacher. In doctor-patient, it's the doctor. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy the other side of the paradigm, but you can't try to wrestle authority from the one who gets it by default, because that authority figure is part of the DNA of a paradigm, as all the rules are. And in buyer-seller, no matter how great you are at selling, all of the authority is with the buyer. Why? Because it's their action that consummates a sale. You see, there's no photograph of what it looks like to sell something. There is a photograph of what it looks like to buy something. That'd be someone holding a credit card or signing a contract or issuing a PO. There's a physical thing. You can go, that's a sale. How do you take a picture of a seller selling? some cheesy look. Like, I don't even know what that would look like.
I literally heavy breathed because I got so nervous. I was like, what is he going to do?
There's
It's
like,
the goofiest, weirdest thing.
That's a seller.
Yeah.
No, we know what buying is an action and selling is not. Not in the same, it's not a verb. So by that nature alone, because ultimately it's the buyer who decides yes or no, the power, ultimately, the authority figure has to be with the buyer. So when we chase, in any way you slice it, you can call it whatever you want. You can say, I've got no choice, or I haven't heard from him in 3 days. Well, get on the phone and call him 4 times. Like, all those things feeds the narrative of authority to a place that becomes something you can't even manage.
Yeah.
I can handle the buyer that has more authority than me if I have higher social value than her. That's the only card I can play.
That's the only card you can
only
play.
card I can play. And think about it in your life, okay? Sports, as a middle schooler. Did the superstar soccer player on your team get better treatment than you did? Of course she did. And we all kind of accept that. You ever wonder why? Why is because the social value sometimes trumps the authority, or at least brings that authority to closeness. And there are some real things about being a salesperson that gives you built-in high social value. All you have to do is play the cards.
I think what we should do, we didn't prep this at all, obviously. We never do.
Nope.
But I think what we should do is go through various sales stages and talk about where built-in social value is and how you can get it.
Yeah.
Starting with the cold call itself. Like, let's just go boom, 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 boom all the way through.
So start with the cold call. When we cold call and we close, one of the things that I always advocate saying whenever your close is on your cold call is something, I'll say something like, so I thought I'd start with you, Cece. Something like that. I thought you'd be my first attempt. Or when I was thinking about where I wanted to call first, you came to mind. All these things are very flattering to Cece, but I say things like start and begin. Translation.
You ain't the whole package.
You ate the whole enchilada. Like, I'm hungry and I think I want a burrito, but if you're out of burritos, I'll go next door and get a burger. I mean, I'm still going to eat.
I'll have the cinnamon crisp that Taco Bell while I'm waiting.
And one of the things that does is it portrays you in reality, which is, let's say I'm an SDR and I have a quota of getting 12 discovery calls a month. It's unlikely that my KPI says I need to get 12 discovery calls a month from these 12 companies. That's unlikely. So I don't need the meeting from you. I need a meeting. So when I get my head around that, whether or not you give me the meeting or not is almost irrelevant in the macro. So I treat the horrible conversion numbers in prospecting to my advantage. Meaning that when I'm prospecting, first, I assume this is dead. I assume that even if I get you live, this is dead. In fact, when do I get excited about a deal? I get excited about a deal after discovery calls.
Me too.
If you do any of the things I asked you to do at a discovery call, now I'm excited. Now, if I lose you, I'm going to cry. But I don't even cry over discovery calls. And if you don't believe me, think of all the people you talked to in 2022 and how many of them bought. And if you actually write those numbers down, you're going to vomit because it's absolutely horrible. So the idea that the first call is some pivot, no, it isn't. It's post-first call that's the pivot. So when I prospect, I'm going to say things like, I'll start with you. Also, when I'm talking and I'm prospecting, I am going to err on the side of being busier than they are, even though I'm asking for a meeting. So if I ask for a meeting, let's say, and I say, what's the easiest way to get on your calendar this week? That's typically how I'll ask. I like using the verb easy because I'm closing for ease instead of the actual meeting. And I like having a finish line that's something that I like. I don't like are you free Tuesday or Thursday? Because now I've already admitted I have 2 open days. And if you say, no, but I have Wednesday, and I say, okay, now I just admitted I'm all open. I hate this. I'd rather say this week. And if you bite it this week and you say, well, I have something on Thursday, we'll play it out. We'll see what it sounds like. So, what's the easiest way to get 30 minutes on your calendar this week, Cece?
I have availability on Thursday afternoon.
What time?
I can do 3.
Can you hold on a sec?
Sure.
Can you do a little before or a little after? I have a 3 o'clock. I can move it, but I prefer not to. Time out. That's all I'll close for the meeting. That way, if she says, no, I only have 3, we're going to have the meeting. Of course, you owe me something because I just asked for a favor and you didn't give it to me, and I'll use that later. But the idea was that I'm accommodating. I have a meeting, but I'll break it for you. That's pretty flattering. But what did I just say? Well, first, I didn't know immediately if I was busy. When she said afternoon, how many of us do it again? Say,
yeah.
What's the easiest way to get 30 minutes on your calendar this week?
I have time Thursday afternoon.
Oh, great. Let me look at my calendar. Isn't that what we say? Oh, great.
I'm wide open. What works best?
I ain't wide open. I wasn't thinking Friday. Today's Monday. Oh my God, that's a million years from now for me. What time? Notice I didn't smile because I didn't want to smile. I wanted to keep it nice and calm. What time? Because I don't even know if I can do Friday. And she says,
I can make 3 o'clock.
oh, damn it. I have something at 3. I don't have anything at 2:30. I have anything at 3:30. So I'll give you some room and I'll honor the 3, but I'm putting into play already. I am busier than you.
So Blake just asked a question. Great info, but how are you using social value when someone is ghosting you, which usually occurs way past the discovery call? Okay, Blake. Yes. Except not always, because someone can easily ghost you on the first meeting, which is square one of the game board here. But what we're saying is it's so critical that you do all of this early so that you are getting ahead of them ghosting you
I'll
later.
get to discovery.
We're going to get there.
I'll get all there. Blake, who said that?
Blake,
We'll get there, man.
It's a great
we'll
question.
Get there. Good question. Still prospecting.
But here's the thing. Without this, we often talk about this in our private classes, and someone will be like, okay, but they ghosted me. And I'm like, all right, well, we're going to deal with the person that ghosted you.
Yeah, of course we are.
But I'm not as concerned with that person. I'm concerned with the person that's behind them.
Yeah.
And I think you said something so earlier with this, I'll start with you when we're prospecting by saying that you're doing 2 things. You're already helping yourself so that you don't feel like you are going behind that person's back to reach out to other people. You're already saying it from go.
You're already getting the safety of being able to
I will be calling other people. Yeah. That's number 1. And number 2, if they do ghost you on that initial meeting, they know that you're going to be calling other people in the organization because you said the word start. So look at their internal capital and their social value internally inside their own organization, maybe start to wane, and therefore it would increase their appetite to actually show up to the meeting itself.
That's right. So let's continue with that, right? I mean, if we're still in the prospecting mode, and let's say in this case, she's like, even if CC were to say, I only have 3 o'clock, and if I hear it in any chesty way, I know it's BS. I know that they're still really holding on to the paradigm, which means I have more work to do. That's all. Means that they're not warmed up yet. So he's like, I only have 3, and it's almost like, and if you don't take the 3, then you're screwed. You're lucky I gave you 3. If that's her whole kind of mission, that's cool. So let's play that out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something else to keep myself from getting ghosted. So go ahead and say, so I can do a little bit before, a little bit after. I do have a 3. I can move it. I just prefer not to.
The only time I have is 3 o'clock.
All right, in front of your calendar?
I am.
Let's do 3. Hold on one second. What's your email?
CC
Blah, 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 blah. All right. You see the invite?
Uh-huh.
Just hit accept and we're done. Time out. Just hit accept and we're done. I've been doing this for 20 years. Just hit accept and we're done. That's right. You have to hit the accept while I'm on the phone with you. Now, what's the difference? They can hit accept and not show up. No, they don't. Because if they hit accept and don't show up, they're a liar. Mm-hmm. And people are not going to admit to a sales rep they're a liar. They'll be guilty of the very thing they're fearful will do. But if I've never understood sales reps like, great, I'll send you an invite, bye. No, why am I getting ghosted? Stop doing that. That's the easy. If you look at your week, this week, today's Tuesday, look at the rest of your week and look at all your little invites, all your calendars with prospects and customers. Any of them grayed out? How about most of them are grayed out, meaning they haven't hit accept at all? So you're showing up to a meeting, well, they said they'd be there, he just hasn't hit accept yet. Not hitting accept is a passive-aggressive way of blowing you off without being a jerk. That is like gift wrapping a ghost, if you want to look at it that way. So that's something I'm going to do every single time. There is, no matter how difficult she is, how does she get out of this moment? How does she say, I'm not going to hit accept till later? What? I mean, she's going to hit accept, and believe me, what happens is, if she was going to ghost me, I'll get a cancellation beforehand. I'll get something, I won't get ghosted.
Which is what we're going for here.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they're going to show up from the meeting to the meeting and buy, but now you've set some level of expectation that because they hit accept in this moment, they're going to have to cancel on you. And that's what we're going for here. Okay, there's so many questions coming in
that's
right
fine.
now.
Let's do it.
But I think we should keep going with social value.
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Sure.
Oh my God, I don't even know what to do. It's my day, and here we are.
I said, you gave me last Tuesday, I'm giving you this Tuesday.
Okay. I'm gonna quick answer these 2 questions, and then we're gonna go to the next one. Nick wants to know what's the best thing to hear as a prospect in the first 10 to 20 seconds of a cold call. We've never met. That's the first thing you're gonna say.
Hi, we've never met. Why do we say we've never met? Because it calms everybody down, including us. What happens is, right when you're calling, for those of you who are probably doing it for the first time, when you're calling, not emailing, and trying to get to a prospect, you get so many voicemails and dead ends that the live connection is so rare that after dialing for an hour of voicemail and you get the, hello, this is Betsy, what happens is it's flight or flight, and one of the things that happens in flight or flight is that your heart starts to beat faster when you get nervous, and that's to pump oxygen-rich blood to large muscle groups in case it's a tiger and you have to run away. So you get all this blood gushing to your hamstrings and your lats and stuff. Well, when blood goes somewhere, it leaves something. And and our bodies are incredible machines this way. So what does it not need if it's a tiger? Doesn't need any blood in the tongue because you're not going to eat anything. So the instant we feel nervous, what happens? We get cotton mouth.
Remember when I said we were going to quickly answer the question?
You shouldn't. Don't tee him up then.
I
know. Oh.
I'm dying. It's good. No, keep going. Keep going. It's one of my favorites.
So what happens is all the blood rushes out of your tongue and out of your vocal cords, which constricts them, which makes you talk higher. So this is what happens. You're dialing, and all of a sudden, hi, Cece. Hi, how are you? Like you have this crazy high-pitched sugar voice, and it's not willpower. You can't fix it with willpower. It's biological. So if I say we've never met, that's my voice telling my brain, everybody calm down.
Totally.
Not a tiger, just a person.
And that's the
So it
easiest way to
works.
get through the
It
first
works.
10 seconds and keep them on the phone.
Sorry, I apologize.
No, it's okay. It was good.
I'll shut up on this one.
Any guidance when someone asks you not to go around them, but to go through them? Okay, I'll CC you on every email. I mean, like what?
Oh, yeah.
Like that. First of all,
Yeah.
I'm an adult and I can talk to whatever adult I want to talk to, and I
Yeah,
believe that with every fiber of my being. So I never ask for permission. So I don't really give people the opportunity to say that to me. But if I do outreach to someone else, who asked this, Estella, if I do outreach to someone else, and my host or one of my buyers is like, "Hey, could you not?"
Yeah.
Okay, I'll CC you on every email.
Here's a great way to remember this, and I'm with you, Cece. I never ask for permission.
Never.
I always ask for favors. That's the difference. I'm not asking for permission. I'm asking for a favor that allows me to be respectful, that allows me to honor the request
Totally.
without handcuffing me to like, well, if you're not going to help me, what am I have to tell the board of directors of my company, we can't sell to IBM because Cheryl doesn't like me. Like that,
Right.
that's outrageous.
And I
Of course
think the
not.
thing that's so important to remember is if you're doing your outreach correctly, this suddenly became a prospecting class, but if you're doing your outreach correctly and you're using YU now, you're using a trigger for the reason to reach out, then it doesn't mean that you were just like, hey, I'm talking to all these people in your organization. You reach out to that individual for a reason. So that's really important for you to remember too.
Totally.
Okay, let's go to discovery.
I mean, we're like 8 minutes left. All right, we'll go to
Okay.
Discovery. But actually, you know what? Discovery, and let's call the middle of the deal.
Middle of the deal.
So the middle of the deal, what's important here to remain getting ghosted, is keep your, one of the things I'll do is I'll keep my closes without commas. I'm not going to multi-layer closes. I'm not going to say, here are the 3 things that we agreed you're going to get me by next week. It's always one thing, and it's always much shorter than a week.
Yeah.
So instead of me saying, so I'll say something like, well, you know what the next thing we'll need is, we'll need to get the technical requirements for this trial. How quickly can you and Stan send that to me? And answer any way you like.
I can probably get them to you by the end of this week.
If it's at the end of this week, I can't promise I'm going to be able to respond for another couple of weeks. I have a lot of stuff going on next week. Can you do it any quicker? Now, time out. What I'm doing is I'm asking my prospect not to speed up the buying process, to speed up her delivery. And I can only do it with a good face if it's one item. But if I give her a laundry list and she can't get it to me for the end of the week, how do I say get it to me tomorrow? It's like 10 things. So I always am very careful not to I have a list of all the requirements. My boss is yelling at me, make sure you get this, this, and this. And I'm like, shut up. I'm gonna get one at a time. And that way, with that one, the idea is that your delay means you're losing me.
Yeah.
Because I'm busier tomorrow than I am right now.
Right.
And that also contributes to higher social value. And when people say, well, okay, well, I could get it. You know what? Let me talk to Stan. I should be able to at least get you a draft on Thursday. You get me a draft on Thursday, and I'm going to clear my week for you.
You know
Look at
what?
that exchange you get to do.
And you know what I love doing in this? Sometimes you'll do that. You'll say like, oh, when can you get it to me? Oh, end of the week. And then you say like, well, listen, if you get it to me by the end of the week, I'm slammed the next 2 weeks, so it's unlikely that I'm going to be able to get you what it is exactly that you're looking for in return. You know what they do? They're like, well, I'll check in with Stan, but I know right now we need blah, 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 blah. Like right in that moment,
Yeah, totally.
they just kind of give it to you.
Yeah.
And look at where your social value is there because you just asked for something that required so much heavy lifting on their part that they couldn't get it to you till the end of the week. But because your time's so valuable, they're like, well, shit, well, I have her right now. I'm going to give it to her. And that's what
love it.
That's what we want.
Here's the other thing to think of. You know, if you've seen enough of these, you know, Cece's got this wonderful cadence theory on a half day, which is just brilliant, and it works all the way through the sales cycle. I am faster to respond to an ongoing exchange with a customer than I am on a new thread. And this is what I mean by that. So let's say Cece's the customer and we're going back and forth on some things I need for the trial. when she sends me back information and has a follow-up question, I'm going to respond very quickly. I want to keep that ball alive. But then if I get another email that says, oh, and by the way, we really would love a product roadmap call, Jeff. Can we do that as well? I am going to be slower in responding to that one. I still might be positive and say yes, but I'm going to be slower than I am on this one, which creates the feeling for Cece, when I get Jeff on the phone, let me get it all in now.
Totally.
Let me if there's other things, because he's always so busy that the time with him is always we accomplish a lot. He says what he's going to do and he does it. But if I linger with other things, I can't guarantee that'll be as quick. It works. So what starts to happen with the prospect is, and also why it helps you with ghosting, is that the idea is that Jeff's not only busy, when I get Jeff, it's extremely productive. See, both have to be in the room.
Totally.
If all we're saying is I'm busier than you, but I'm a lousy rep, who cares? But if I'm busier than you, but man, I get Jeff for 15 minutes and look what I get done.
Look at what we can do.
This also inspires that. So I'm slower on new requests than I am on existing requests.
I think that's so good. That's gold. That's gold.
Yeah.
All right, but let's answer the question right now
Okay.
in 4 minutes. Do you have records?
No.
So in 4 minutes.
I know. I'm so.
No, it's okay.
That's why we need this hire. I've been busy I'm like trying to figure out Facebook ads. I'm like, I don't even know how this works.
It's
can't do my
fine.
records.
Here we are. We've got 4 minutes to answer the question that I think so many people are thinking here. These are some good nuggets and hacks for you to think about on how to not get ghosted in the future. But what's the $1 million question right now? I've got 3 days left to sell this quarter.
Oh, yeah.
What do I do if my buyer's ghosting me?
Okay, if you're getting ghosted this week, you're really behind. You've got problems. You don't need me to tell you that. So we're gonna take. It's called a Hail Mary for a reason, because they don't have great conversion rates. No, these are not Hail Marys, but these are more aggressive, and you'll more likely than not get the no you were already getting parenthetically with the ghost. But I'll do a variety of things. It usually sounds like this. I will change my tone on a voicemail, and it'll sound something like this. Hi, CC, it's Jeff. I need you to call me back, and I need you to call me back before X. And X is always either lunch or end of day, depending on if it's morning or afternoon. So I'll say something like, hi, CC, this is Jeff. I need you to call me back before lunch today. It's really important, and it's not about the deal. Hi, CC, it's Jeff. It's really important that you call me back by lunch. Really important that I talk to you before lunch, and it's not about the deal. Okay, what I just said was a lot. Notice I didn't say in the beginning, I want to talk to you. I said, you have to call me. So I'm putting the stress on their action. I mean, it's really important that you call me. Not it's really important that we speak. That's a different tone. And you hear no friendliness, and there's not, and very seriousness. And it's very important, and then that little kicker, it's not about the deal. The idea is that I am planting FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's a Hail Mary move. It's a pain sell. It works, but it doesn't work all the time, or we use it all the time. And generally, we use it as desperation, or we use it if we're stuck very early. And the idea is that I am going to make something going on in her world she don't like, and I want to outbox whatever that nuttiness is. If she doesn't call me on this, the deal's dead. That you have to accept that. If you don't get a call back in that half day, or at least I can't call you back, Jeff, but I'll try you later. You don't get anything, that ghost meant we were breaking up with you. But let's say she does call me back. Hi, this is Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, I got your message.
Oh, Cece, excellent. You know how I said this wasn't about the deal?
Yeah.
I wasn't truthful. It is about the deal. That's what you do. That's exactly what you do.
And then you do exactly what I said at minute 4
Are you
of
signing
today's
this on
session.
Friday or not?
Are you signing this on Friday or not? Listen, we've been saying this now for weeks.
They're ghosting you because they're trying to avoid this moment.
But-
This is why they're ghosting you.
So we force the moment.
Yeah.
And listen, if this were a dating game right now, I tell you to do the opposite. I mean, and what we do.
Well, I don't
We
get
don't
these
do
situations.
this.
I don't, I
so
don't-
we don't. But here's the thing. You're always going to have a moment where you're in a weird deal like this, where someone does ghost you and you feel like you're at the finish line and all of a sudden you haven't heard from them. You have a choice. You can do exactly this, or you can do the other thing, which is just completely kill the deal and move on to starting something new inside of that organization. Killing a deal doesn't mean you're killing an account.
Look, it's someplace, everybody, as a sales rep, our name, even if it's not known, our name is on the forecast that's now sitting in front of the investors of our company. That is the load we're carrying.
Yep.
So however that forecast gets rolled up the food chain and winds up in the hands of the board of directors by the CEO and CFO saying, this is what we're doing this quarter, your promises are in there. And you owe it to them, not your customer, not your prospect, not your boss. You owe it to the investors of your
So
company
true.
to get clarity on the thing that you promised. It's only showing up because you told your boss it's coming in. So if you said it's coming in and you don't have an answer, you need an answer.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how we get there. And let me tell you about the exchange I just did. You don't have to do too many of these. They don't end up great.
Matt said in the chat, someone said, yeah, was it Matt? If they go nuclear, they were never going to buy.
Yes, but more important, who said that?
Matt.
Matt, you're right. But you know what's even bigger? How many nuclear bombs do you want to deal with before you go, I never want that call again? That's why Cece said in the beginning, avoid being ghosted is so much stronger than dealing with ghosts. Use it as a learning moment. I hated that explosion call. Most people who are ghosted a lot never let themselves feel the pain of being really rejected. They accept the ghost as, well, sales sucks. But you know what? You got off light, all you reps that got ghosted, because you didn't get the no.
Yeah.
So own the no. That's
Own
what
the
goes.
no.
Own that no.
You know what?
Feel it, take it, and go, I hate this. And it'll inspire you to do all the tricks we're telling you in this Tuesdays, which is I don't get ghosted because I don't want to be ghosted. That's
Totally.
why.
My husband is terrified of ghosts. Not like being ghosted, he's just afraid of ghosts, which I did
didn't
see.
know that.
Well, I did see one in my bedroom the other day, and we can talk about it later. But he says, because I can't punch a ghost. And why? Ben, why are you so
He's so
freaked out by
smart.
ghosts? He goes, because
Ben's
I
so
can't
smart.
punch a ghost. Same thing holds true here. If they're ghosting you, it's hard for you to land that punch.
Yeah.
But when they're a real person,
Oh, yeah.
don't waste time. Land the punch beforehand.
This is a good one.
Woo, 31 minutes here.
Well done.
Thanks. I told you I want to talk
we have
about what I
great
want to talk
news.
about.
Since so many eyes are going to be sharing our hacks. We thought this was going to be the last episode for the season.
It's
What did we
not.
decide?
We're going all the way through to Memorial Day.
Yeah, screw it. We'll just go through
May.
Memorial Day. I'm committing.
I'm
going
in.
through May 31st.
So if you signed up for today, you're already signed up for the next few.
And if-
make sure you share those hacks and that post.
And if you're like, okay, I want to see one I missed, because the Mastering one last week was so dear to me, and I hope you watch
Yeah.
it. And they're on our YouTube channel, but I'm slow in getting there. It's why we have a new rec. So don't forget, we are hiring. And as soon as we get someone, they'll be on
Yep.
YouTube a lot faster.
Exactly. You all rock. Have a great Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, folks.
Happy selling.